Hello, it's Jennifer from heysealemon. A lot of you guys have been asking to see a plaid or tartan tutorial, so I thought I'd give it a try, and I want to show you how to do it using a watercolor method because I think the transparency works really well with this pattern. But of course you can use any medium of your choice. This pattern looks great on any project. I especially think it makes nice DIY wrapping paper for this time of year. And speaking of, if you want some unique gift ideas, I made a series of cement DIYs over on HGTV Handmade this month, which include some candle holders and a couple of other DIY tabletop decor pieces. You can check those out in the playlist on my channel page, or head over to HGTV Handmade and subscribe while you're there. Alright, let's make some plaid. This first one is the easiest to make, but before I begin, I'm going to add some artist tape to the edges. This will catch the paint so it doesn't go onto the table and hold my paper in place. I'm going for a tone-on-tone look with this one, so I'm using a darker tone of the paper color. Start with a line down the center, and make another line next to it but leave a small gap between them. Make those same two parallel lines right next to it, leaving about the width of those two lines between each set. And it's totally fine if these lines aren't perfectly straight. Let those dry, and then you can return to your canvas, making the same sets of lines going the opposite direction. Let that dry, and then you have a simple plaid pattern which was really easy to make. This next one is a little more complex with more colors. I'm watering down this acrylic paint to make it transparent, and making diagonal lines for this plaid. Make several of them with the same spacing apart, and again the lines don't have to be perfectly straight, but if you want them to, I find it easiest to make them slowly. Slow and steady wins the race. Let those dry, and then return to your canvas with the same paint, making the same diagonal lines in the other direction. And you see those crisp squares in between where the lines meet? That makes it look more like plaid and is achieved when you let the paint dry in between each intersecting line. While I let those dry, I'm going to rinse off my brush and return to it with a new color, this time white. And on both sides of each purple line, I'm going to make a white line with just a little gap in between. Let those dry and return to it, making the same white lines in the opposite direction, keeping the same spacing for an even pattern. And there you have another plaid version with more dimension and color. Okay, let's step it up a notch and try a plaid that's more complex with more colors. With a smaller brush, I'm making a grid of even black lines. If your lines are maybe too transparent, you can always go back over them. Let those dry, and then with a larger brush and a different color, make a line in every other column of the grid. And do the same in the other direction. Let those completely dry, and then with a smaller brush in a different color, I'm going to make two parallel lines in the opposite columns, keeping a gap between the white lines and the original grid that I made, and repeat those lines in the opposite direction. Now for another color, I'm going to add a yellow line in between the blue lines, and green in between the opposite columns. It's really up to you how complex you want to make your plaid, and you can have fun experimenting with so many different colors and variations of lines. I'd love to see the plaid patterns you come up with, so share those on my social links and follow me while you're there. For more DIY, subscribe to my channel heysealemon, and if you want to see a couple of other pattern tutorials, check out these right here. Links will also be in the description below. Like this video if you want to see more pattern tutorials, and I will see you guys next time.